When I was about 5 to 6 years old, there were some boys who moved in a few houses down from where I lived. They were about my age, probably 2 years older. I didn't know any of them since I didn't really leave the house, plus I was homeschooled. But I would always see them riding their bikes past my house when I would play outside and when I would travel on the road with my parents. One day, my mom was doing laundry when our dog started barking and we hear someone calling at the front. We have a gated yard and our dogs stay outside since where we live it's warm all year round. So, since my mom was putting in a load, she tells me to go check who it is. When I go to the door and open it, there are the boys who live down the street, and they're calling to me and asking me to come out. Now, I was a very curious child and I didn't like letting people feel bad, so it was hard for me to tell people no. But I was also an obedient child and I knew I shouldn't go out there. So I just stood at the door and stared, because I was taking so long my mom comes out and sees the boys, she shoos them away and carries me back inside. I don't see them come back for a while. A few weeks later my grand-aunt comes to visit and she's brought a lot of things for us. So we were on the porch sorting through them when one of the boys from the group comes to our gated and calls out. My mom turns to him and asks what he wants to, so he replies, pointing down the row. My friend down there says she's his girlfriend and he wants her to come. My mom is confused and asks, which girl is he talking about? He points to me, her. My mom turns to me and asks sternly if I know these boys and what's going on. I was totally scared and nervous, so I just promptly said no to be fair. I didn't know their names, so my mom tells him that I'm not that boy's girlfriend and sends him away telling him to leave me alone and don't come back. After that, the only time I really saw them was when we drove out of the house and maybe in passing when playing outside. Eventually, they did move away and I never saw them again. But I still made me feel good for a while that someone would want me to be their girlfriend, even though it was weird cause they were claiming we were together when I'd never even talked to them. Anyway, that's my story. I hope I told the story clearly, LOL. When I agreed to meet him, I was both excited and nervous. After all, he was a fitness influencer, someone I'd only seen online until now. But in person, he instantly surprised me. He was warm, respectful, and so easy to talk to that my nerves started melting away. The night began with him saying he wanted me to try his favorite sweet. He told me it was something I had to taste, and I could see he really meant it. I smiled and said, "Okay, let's go." On the way there, he suddenly asked, "By the way, what was that place you said you'd take me to?" I explained, "It's this aesthetic cafe near the movie theater. I thought I'd show you a cool spot, and then we'd head straight for the movie." He paused, almost guilty, and said, "Shit, now I feel so bad. The place I'm taking you isn't fancy at all." That made me laugh. "It's so sweet that you're being thoughtful and showing me your favorite place. Don't think like that." He looked at me for a second, almost like he didn't know what to say, and then he admitted, "You're so simple and sweet. I feel so good right now." He was unsure till the last minute, but I insisted, so off we went. And honestly, he was right. The sweet was delicious. After that, we went to the cafe I'd suggested. On the way, he casually asked me what my favorite chocolate was. I said, Toblerone. Coincidentally, the cafe was a chocolate shop too. And the second he spotted Toblerone on the shelf, he grabbed it for me without hesitation. We both laughed as we sneaked it into the movie theater like two kids. The movie itself was hilarious in its own way, full of jump scares that had me clutching his hand, his arm, and especially his bicep. He teased me, flexing just enough to make me laugh, and at one point whispered that I could touch his chest or even count his ABS if I wanted. It was ridiculous and funny, but also kind of adorable. When the film ended and we got back to his car, the night threw us a curveball. His car refused to start. He tried again and again, clearly worried I'd feel awkward. But instead of being annoyed, I couldn't stop laughing. I held up my phone's torch while he leaned over the hood, sleeves pushed up, focused and determined, and honestly, he looked way too good trying to fix a broken car. When the engine finally roared back to life, he looked so relieved, and I think Seeing me laugh about it made him relax to dot. Instead of calling it a night, we decided to drive around. I showed him some hidden gems in my area, and somewhere along the way, the conversations turned deep. He started opening up about his life, real, vulnerable parts of it. It felt like a level of closeness that usually takes months to build, but here it was, unfolding without us even realizing. Before we said goodbye, he told me he'd never felt so open with someone so fast, that this night was something he'd remember forever, that I was the sweetest person he'd ever met, and he was so glad we crossed paths. And in that moment, with the city lights passing us by, I realized it wasn't just a first meet-up. It was the kind of night that quietly etches itself into your memory, not because everything went perfectly, but because it was real, funny, wholesome, and unforgettable.
The summer of 2016, at the end of the spring semester in 2016, I was wrapping up my junior year of college, and life was good. My grandfather had just bought me a new computer, and I was learning 3D drafting. I had also made the difficult but freeing decision to stop chasing relationships, choosing instead to pour my time into music, recording and writing nearly non-stop on my iPhone 6 and iPad Air 2. Then came May. Finals were over, and summer was mine, by nothing but random chance, a few old high school friends, a co-worker, and I ended up in a group chat, and a new friendship sparked instantly. We began hanging out about once a week, and every moment stuck with me. Even though our meetups were limited by work schedules, I can recall almost every detail of every day we spent together that summer. Quality over quantity, you know. Day 1, we crammed into my friend Andrew's Crown Vic and cruised through Indiana's countryside, joking around with parody songs on the aux. We ended the evening by a quiet lake as the rain fell, just talking. It felt like a scene from a movie. Day 2, Andrew texted us about a surprise. After meeting at a sketchy but incredible gas station deli, we drove past ghost towns until we hit a steep gravel road. At the top, we found ourselves on a cliff, overlooking endless treetops. Zach shouted, "Ho!" We sat on the edge with guitars, shouting into the wind. Later, we hit Wendy's before heading home around 1:30 a.m. Day 3, we chilled in Zach's garage, teaching Wayne the basics of guitar and starting to write music together. Andrew finished a love song that still gets played sometimes. Day 4, a random Kroger run in rural Kentucky turned into us filming goofy videos and laughing like kids. On the way home, Andrew joked about a billboard and a caveman voice Mayan tires, I in service, which still cracks me up. Day 5, big day for me. We invited Nicole, my crush, to Guitar Center. I squeezed everyone into my beat-up cassette. We jammed in the expensive guitar room, and I still have the recordings. On the way back, more laughs, more memories. I honestly don't even remember how it ended, just that it was good. Day 6. A campfire cookout at Andrew's. Nicole ran and jump-hugged me. I had a guitar in one arm, a blonde bombshell in the other. I really thought I had a chance at scoring her with how the night was going. I played Everlong by request by the campfire, and insert another line about this being a movie. At the end of the night, I asked her out. She said she only saw us as friends, but I had planned for this response in advance, and I was surprisingly okay. The summer was just that good. We shared a nice goodbye that night, and I didn't see her till fall. The night ended with fireworks and optimism. Day 7, I hosted, or rather my wonderful parents did. We watched Air Force One and played Cards Against Humanity. Zach asked what Revenge F*** King meant, and Wayne demonstrated in a Batman voice while air thrusting. You killed my parents. We all lost it that night. We also were talking about our little country drivers and realized we'd been listening to Here's to the Good Times by Florida Georgia Line nonstop. Thus a plan formed. Day 8, we met again at my mom and dad's and recorded a full cover of Cruise. I played lead guitar and harmonies, Zach and Andrew shared lead vocals, and Wayne did the Nelly verses. We used just my iPad mic and a cheap adapter. I edited it from 6 p.m. to midnight. It came out way better than expected, and the group chat blew up with excitement. Day 9, this day actually didn't start with a plan, just wanted to drive around and be happy about making finally music together. But when we were down by the Ohio River, inspiration struck. Then and there shot a music video lip-syncing our song while driving back roads near the river. Dashcam turned around, just vibing. In that moment, I felt absolute peace. I wasn't bitter about rejection or popularity anymore. I had a purpose. We went home walking on air. Day 10, first day of fall semester. I posted the video on Facebook that morning. By midday, it was blowing up 30 shares, then 70, hundreds of likes and comments. We were getting messages from nearby locals saying they loved it. That night, we drove around town blasting our song, celebrating with pizza, music, and late night sightseeing. We ended up at an abandoned cabin in Leavenworth, Indiana, and carved our names into the wall. Joseph, Wayne, Zach, Andrew. 2016. This turned out to be our last night together. Epilogue. Summer ended. Andrew got a full-time job in another town. Zach moved back overseas. Wayne enlisted in the Navy and vanished from social media. I miss them like crazy, still. The year stayed amazing. Nicole and I reconnected and recorded a song. I got my best grades in years. Christmas was perfect. I've tried for 9 years to reunite the group, but it hasn't worked out yet.